Hi everybody, I'm Tony Wilson, here with my good friend and co-host Adrian Wright, and this is
The Supernatural and Beyond.
Well, we have been plummeting at beyond light speed down the rabbit hole. It's deep. I don't see a bottom in sight anywhere. However, it has been one of those episodes, well, over the past few episodes, where we can actually just take these little rabbit trails because as we stay on point during our regular sessions, we don't have a lot of chance to explore some of those things that could be of interest and are vitally and intricately connected to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
So, giants. One of the things that was said in the Bible, in the scriptures, is that as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be with the coming of the Son of Man.
Yes.
Well, the signs are pointing toward the coming of the Son of Man, not the signs of man.
Son of Man.
So, one of the things that this is showing is that what Yeshua said was, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be with the coming of the Son of Man.
Yes.
And it's very easy to see that there's a lot of strange things going on. There's a lot of celebrities that have been alleged to be cloned.
Yes.
There have been a lot of celebrities and other prominent people from prominent families that have been, shall we say, artificially enhanced.
Oh yeah, artificial intelligence.
From a lot of different perspectives, both physically and mentally. There's a entrepreneur who invented this car. Again, trying not to
name names.
Who invented this car?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, that drives itself.
That drives itself, driving cars.
Self-driving cars.
That has basically said that with the coming of AI, we are unleashing the demons.
Yeah.
And again, this is just one of those things that you just gotta like,
Well, think about Terminator 2, right?
Okay.
When Skynet, right, became self-aware, right?
Skynet trusted to run it all.
Yeah. Became self-aware. Then you had these like demonic powers, as you will, the Terminators, that went out there trying to destroy the human race.
Right.
You know, and there was the remnant or the resistance that were fighting them.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like we're being desensitized to it. We're being softly disclosed into it. And the clones, we've heard, so-and-so might be a clone. And we know they grow clones in labs. They've cloned sheep. They've cloned other stuff. Why not humans, right? And they're trying to clone body parts. So, like, you get your arm shot off, and they put a new one on there and sew it on, however that works. And even that movie, The Fifth Element, where... I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
Yes, I did.
But that loved it. Alien that came from another planet came to save Earth.
Right.
And she was like blown up from these attackers, but the Earthlings had the little computer they put in with her arm and built her back.
Right.
And what's funny is the whole arm thing from the Terminators, they rebuilt the Terminators because they found one of the crushed arms from the first Terminator.
Yeah, see, now this is how the movies have been sharing and showing us what's actually going on behind the scenes, behind those individuals in the deep state, those elite families.
Cabal, if you will.
That have access to this kind of information. And see, that's why it's so vitally important that we keep seeking the truth.
Yeah.
The way, the truth, and the light.
Right.
We can't say this enough. It's fun to talk about all this tech talk and so forth and so on, clones and giants and whatnot, but it boils down to this. There is only one way, one truth, one light. We've talked about underground civilizations, these celestial beings being bound up and then re-emerging on the face of the earth. If we don't have a solid understanding and foundation of what the Creator, Yahweh, God, Elohim, intended for us, we will be so totally terrified that we will just do and say anything.
Yeah.
And this is where the New World Order or the Luciferian agenda is taking place, where they want a one world religion, a one world government.
Currency? Oh, yeah.
Well, government, yeah, and a one world currency. And you were saying about the currency, the cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, the cryptocurrency. I don't know specifically if the cryptocurrency is the one world financial system, but think about it. Like, they want to put the mark of the beast in you, and you can't buy and you can't sell without the mark on your hand or on your forehead. And it's like, it's kind of, are we in that area now? I mean, they have the technology now. There's even a patent for that cryptocurrency AI system. And it's called, you can research this, it's a legitimate patent. It's patent 060606. And it's like 666. 060606. When you have a product and it's patent, there's a stamp on the product. It says patent number, whatever the patent number is, right? 11355 or whatever it is. So this 060606, well, what does that mean? Where do you get that? What if it's just a random thing? Well, it's not a random thing, number one.
No.
Computer code, the binary code is 010101, and the number of man is 6. So if you multiply 6 by binary code 010101, you get 060606. And you look at the patent, the details in the patent, it's actually a chip, right? A microscopic chip that checks the human vitals like heart rate, blood pressure, and it's got a cryptocurrency built into it.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of it,
Yeah.
because we have. I remember when the EBT card came out. Now that there's a lot of you who don't know what an EBT card is. Basically, it's a government credit card, and they put the money for those that are receiving welfare and other types of benefits and so forth. They just load up your card automatically.
Yes,
and you can just go ahead and just stick it in.
It replaced like the welfare stamp type deal.
Yeah,
it works like a debit card. Like you go to Jack in the Box and you get your meal, or you go to a lot of places you'll see accept EBT.
Yeah, a lot of EBT. And the thing of it is like, I remember when I was a kid, credit cards were brand new.
Yeah.
And then
they had that little machine that they had to go take the print of the card. You couldn't scan it.
Right. And then we got the chips. Just to show you how chips have progressed, they put them in the cards now.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between having a credit card, a debit card? Most of us don't even use cash anymore.
Yeah, because you use tap to pay.
Yeah.
Because you use tap to pay, and you tap your card on the little card swiper where you normally swipe it, and it reads the card. It takes your money off of it right there.
And one of the things that amazed me before the EBT card came out, I was working at a retail store, and they gave me a credit card from Spain. And I'm like, wow, okay, well, let's run it through the machine and see what happens.
Yeah.
Took it, no problem.
Yeah.
A bank in Spain accepted a transaction from a bank in the United States.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow.
I went to Australia, and the same thing happened. I got to Australia, and like, you get your currency converted or whatever. Well, I ran out of cash, right? And I'm like, do you take Discover? And they're like, no, we don't take Discover. But they took my bank card, which is a Visa. They take Visa, American Express. And I'm like, well, how does that work with the whole transferring the money type deal? And I'm like, it just automatically does it. It's already in place. And like, I got a call from my bank saying, hey, are you in Australia? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in Australia. Thank you for checking that my card's not being used fraudulently. But when I looked at the statements when I got back to the US, I could see that, hey, I pulled out $40 in the US thing, or $40 in Australia, and it converted, and there was a little fee in there, and everything was taken care of.
That was all taken care of. So how hard would it be if we already got cards that are chipped so that we can do the transactions electronically? Digital currency is not that it's not that far away.
Yeah.
And they're already talking about putting a chip, RFID chip, either in your hand or in your forehead, or even some kind of digital marking,
Yeah.
so that all you
Yeah.
have to do is just swipe. It's automatically taken care of. So if the government is taking care of the welfare state and other agencies, there's certain organizations within governmental organizations that will not give you a paycheck. They will give you direct deposit, and then you take your card or your chip
Yep.
and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
It's
Completely cashless.
Cashless.
Yeah, cashless.
So if you don't think that it's coming,
We're already being desensitized to it.
it's already here.
Yeah. And it's very interesting. I mean, with this whole AI stuff, and it's like, well, how does this tie in to the supernatural and beyond? And it's like, this stuff is part of the end time policies, the end time strategies of the evil one, the Luciferian New World Order, the one world government. John saw it and wrote the book of Revelations. Daniel saw it in his book, and that was an old time prophet during the Babylonian captivity. And he saw like Mystery Babylon, and how that was John that saw Mystery Babylon, and how the nations of the world came and traded with her. And it was like, it ties in. And what nations trade the most now with what other nations? You know, America's big on trading. China's big on trading. And it's like, John knew it wasn't the old Babylon. He knew it was like the Mystery Babylon, a new organization.
Right, exactly.
Right? And you had like the 10 nations and the statue that Daniel saw, how he saw the nations of the world, and they would break apart because they were of clay and iron. They weren't strong, they weren't stable. And you look at the world now, like you could easily pick 10 nation world superpowers that are at war, and they're not completely stable with each other. You know, and you have like that Babylonian system never really went away.
No, it never did. It's still here, and it's been passed down. Once again, we're talking about these elite families.
Yep.
And these elite organizations that have been carrying on these traditions and keep them going for their ultimate objective, world conquest and domination. And they want to rule everybody.
And it's all there, trying to take away people's freedoms, trying to take away people's rights, like your right to speak out, trying to censor everything. And it all ties back, like you said, to in the beginning. You know, in the beginning, and you had those fallen gods, the fallen angels, and then now those same entities are still being worshipped. It brings the giants in that alien race or that entity race into that network to destroy the human race. And if you look at the human race, we're all fighting each other over little stuff. And it's like, why are we fighting each other over this, or why are we fighting over each other over that? Because they're distracting us from the power plays, the step by step they need to get us to that new world order, to that cryptocurrency or that one world currency. Because look, you can't be robbed for your money, your cash, if it's cashless, and if it's in a chip that's in your hand or your forehead. Nobody can take that from you. They'd have to take your arm off. But since it's a biometric sensor, your arm's no longer going to work because it's not connected to your body.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Same thing with your head. They're not going to be able to take your head off because that chip's going to be like, oh, it doesn't work. It'll shut down. So there's not going to be a way to do that, and everybody's going to be told it's for your safety.
For your safety.
It's for your own good. And these people are going to be like, yeah, I'm a sheep. Let's do it. Let's be safe, you know? Let's save lives.
So the thing of it is, you have to decide whether you're going to be a part of the New World Order, or are you going to be a part of the kingdom that is coming. It's already here. For those of us who have explored and done a little research, the kingdom of heaven is here. The kingdom of heaven is now, not in some ethereal ethos or in some building somewhere. It's right here.
It's inside.
It's right here.
The kingdom of heaven is within you.
The creator of heaven and earth has invested in all of us, invested in you, me, Adrian, and said, hey, I got a game plan that can't be beat because I invented all game plans. So work with me I'll work with you and we'll get through this. And we will make it a much better place. You'll be like nothing you've ever known or seen before.
And exactly what you're saying. I've noticed a lot of people that weren't believers a few months ago becoming believers and starting to say like, hey, like this, the times we're living in is like the biblical book of Revelations. Mm-hmm. And there's a few memes out there like, what book of Revelation are we in this year? You know? And it's been like one of those years where it's kind of crazy and we're talking about what's going on. But the thing is, there's a harvest that's coming of people, the Great Awakening. Like we're entering like a second Great Awakening where people are being red-pilled, so to speak. They're taking that red pill and they're waking up to the demonic realms, the Luciferian realms, and they're saying, wow, there is a God, there is a creator, and they need that direction, and they need to know where to go. And the good news is they are looking at the book, and they're starting at the end of the book, because we're at the end of the world anyway, the end of the ages, and people are like, something's here.
Something's up.
Something's up. And they're finding that relation with the creator. Like I'm saying, I'm seeing people that are in Hollywood. I'm seeing people that are social media gurus and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, I didn't believe in this Jesus stuff a year ago. Let me tell you my story. And it's like, wow. And they call it an awakening. I had an awakening. It was more than an epiphany. And it's like they're digging in.
Hey, when the writing's on the wall.
When the writing's on the wall.
People see it and go for it.
Yeah. So the writing's on the wall, like in the book of Daniel. And we want to encourage you here at the Supernatural and Beyond to follow us on our Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more content.